Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. It's Seek and You Will Find tonight. So you get to ask me questions, and I'm going to give you answers in the form of a healing. And I already have a couple of requests. Thank you very much. I'm going to start tonight with a request that Jody made about snakes. I like that. That's a great way to start the night, is by clearing out low-level beings. So before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and say a prayer to set the energy. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity, that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. All right. I'm going to get started on snake removal. First place I'm noticing energy of snakes is around the head and in the heads. Snakes love to hang out in your crown chakra because that's a really easy place to program you. So sometimes you can feel them if you feel like sharp pain in your head, or sometimes you'll feel like a pressure on your head. While I'm working on this, you might actually feel that. The other thing that I'm going to clear is some spider energy, which is also a really destructive energy. It's a little different than snake energy in that it's kind of a different quality to it. Like snake energy is really biting and stings. Like if you get whacked by a snake, it usually is very painful. Spider energy is more of like a low-level gurgling type of energy, and it's associated with drinking and drinking alcohol, not just drinking. And it's a really, the energy, it creates like really intense apathy where you can't really do much of anything. So I'm going to be working on that right now. You know where I see a lot of spider energy is in your places of work. I know I'm not saying much. I'm concentrating. I'm doing erasures on these little boogers. Okay. I'm going to fill you in with gold. That was such a good request. I'm just checking to see if there are any other destroy beings around. You know, I'm going, not that these are destroy beings, but I see them kind of in the same vein as beings that get in the way of you being on your path. They're like food beings. And the beings that make us, that kind of can climb into your body and make you start eating things you don't want to eat. And I'm going to do a healing on that right now. It's a little sidetrack from what the original request was, but I think you'll like me doing this. You know what's funny about that is these beings, the picture that they throw is that this will comfort you. If you eat this, this will comfort you. When in fact, what it does is it comforts the being. It's a food that's made to be at the vibration that that being can get into your body on. So I find that very amusing, actually. And what I'm doing is I'm just moving any of those beings that I see out of your body being communication space. Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna fill you in with gold. And I have a couple of questions. I got one on my cell that I'm going to read first. Let's see. Okay. This reads, hey, both of my mock-ups had end dates of the end of March. Maybe something is brewing with them that I don't know about. How do I proceed? Do I resend a new mock-up for both of the ones that did not come in? And my answer to that is yes, and I'm going to walk you through what you do. And so everybody on the call, if you have something that you wanted and it didn't come to you, if you sent a mock-up out that has not come to fruition, I'm just going to walk you through the steps of what you do and then do a little healing on it. So what you would do is you would call your mock-up back onto your screen. I'm going to get my trusty rose. So you would call your rose that you sent out originally back on your screen so that you can look at it. This is what's important about a mock-up that didn't work. It doesn't do you any good to just blow off a mock-up that doesn't work. You have to learn why didn't it work so that you can prevent that from happening in the future. And the reason it didn't work is there's some kind of energy that got in there that you're either not neutral to or that you didn't see that's getting in the way. So doing mock-ups can be a process of elimination, so to speak. So like if you're new to mock-ups, it might take you a couple of mock-ups to get the whole thing cleaned out really the way that you want it. So what we're going to do is we're going to call our old mock-up back on our screen and take a look at it. All of you can think of something that you've wanted that didn't come true or hasn't come to you yet and put that postulate into a rose so that you can look at it on your screen. And you're going to put a grounding cord underneath the stem of the rose so that you can ground the energy off of it and look at what in the world got into that mock-up that you're not neutral to. So you're going to have to close your eyes to do this. Go ahead and take a look at your rose. And you can look at the color of the rose to start with. if the color is not that original vibrant color that you sent out, whatever color that was, I'm sure when you sent it, it looked really good. So if when you call it back up on your screen, it doesn't look so great, you want to start grounding it and ground whatever energy is on it. And this is where you get to use a little of your clairvoyance, because you want to read what kind of energy got stuck on it. So take a few moments and really look at that rose on your screen. And the first thing I would have you do would be to look to see if it's your energy, if maybe some of your hurry up energy or demand energy or expectations were left in there. Those are usually the most common energies that we all tend to leave in our mock-ups. So as you're looking at the rose, you want to create a great big gold sun above your head and start calling the energy of yours out. I didn't really say that correctly. Let me start over. Call your energy out of the rose and bring it into the sun above your head. And you get to see for yourself how much of your energy you might have left in there. Maybe you didn't leave any in there. Maybe it's something else. But that's always the first go-to that I look at is what of my energy did I leave in there? And after you've called your energy out of that rose and brought it into a sun, make sure you bring that sun into your space and fill yourself up with that gold energy. And then you want to keep looking at the rose and grounding whatever other colors or energy got into that rose. Because here's the thing, if you don't clean it off now and you go ahead and send out a whole new rose, well, guess what's going to happen? You may very well get stuck on the same energy or pictures. So it's really beneficial to take a look at what got stuck in the mock-up. So take a look at whatever else is left after your energy has been called out. If there are dark colors, just say hello to them, send them down the grounding cord. And I'm going to tell you a couple of other things to look for too. So this is your first step. Good. Now you want to check to see if any cords got into your mock-up. Did somebody see your mock-up and cord it? That means they put a line of energy from themselves to your mock-up, which might prevent it from going all the way out into the universe. So what you want to do is look for literally things that look like this, like a cord. And they may have other colors besides white. They may be different colors, different thicknesses, but that's basically what a cord looks like, a string. And if you find a cord, what you're going to do is gently untwist it, like twist it backwards, gently pull it out. Cords attached to pictures. So you might want to go inside the rose and find the picture. It's going to appear like a little dot. You pull that out, blow that up, and you fill that hole in with gold. Good. Now the next thing that you want to look for is wax. Did somebody whack your mock-up? Now that could look like BB holes in it, or it could look like a slit. And you want to see if there's any damage to your rose. Now, sometimes there might be so much damage that you go, what's the point of healing this? And there might not be a point other than to look and see what whacked it. Like, where did the whack come from? And what picture did it get on, so that you know in the future what to look out for. So again, if there's a whack, you're going to look for the colored dot in the rose that is the picture that the whack attached to. So a whack is like a really strong force of energy, like woof. And it's so strong that if there's any resistance at all to that in the rose, it will hit the rose and snap back and split it open. So you want to get the picture out of it, blow that picture up, and then fill that hole in again with gold. But what's important is to get an idea of what that picture was that the whack attached to. Like, why did the rose get whacked? Was it competition? Did somebody see your mock-up and feel that they couldn't have something like that themselves, so they whacked it? That's usually what the whack is. It can be other things, but that's really number one. So look and see if you can get any information off of that picture that the whack is attached to. And after you take that picture out, fill it up with gold, and then take a look at your mock-up. And if it looks like it's back at its original state, you can go ahead and fill that back in with gold and send it out. Or if it doesn't quite look the way you want it, and you want to just kind of freshen it up, bring it into present time, now that you know what has gone on with the mock-up, and you've got all of that information, that data for the next mock-up, you can go ahead and blow that one up and recreate a brand new mock-up in present time. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little healing on your guys' mock-up space right now. And I have to say that I did not request that question, but it's an excellent segue into one of the classes that's coming up this month. I'm going to be teaching a class on, is that this month? Having it all? I have a class coming up. It might be in May, where we're going to be working on mock-ups and our abundance and things like that. So I'll have to look on the calendar at the end of this class and tell you when it is. Okay, so I'm going to do a healing now on everyone's mock-up space. The first thing I notice is there's a lot of energy in the mock-up space about whether you're doing it right or not. So a lot of concern about perfection. We're going to take that out. You know, there's a formula for it, but there's no real right way to do a mock-up. You just kind of go through the steps and learn as you go. Yeah, more fear of doing it wrong. And then generally a lot of competition in that mock-up space. And I'll tell you where I see that competition coming from mostly is family. That's right. So I'm going to do a little housekeeping on family energy in the mock-up space. That's good. It's really opening up that mock-up space to give you more room to look at maybe bigger and greater things that you'd like to have, because that was the effect of that family competition in the mock-up space, was diminishing like your picture of what you could have. It was minimizing it. So you would go into your mock-up space and go, oh, I might want to create this, but I'll really just try to create this. And that was family competition. And let me look for anything else here. Disappointment. I want to clear disappointment out of the receiving quadrant of the mock-ups. And also, a little confusion about how to trust in the universe. And I'm definitely going to do a healing here. Trusting in the universe kind of piggybacks on top of your communication space with Supreme Being. If that is broken down, then trusting in the universe probably isn't going to happen. So I'm going to go back to the second part of the mock-up and do a healing on your communication with Supreme Being. Mostly what I'm finding in here is all of you have karma with Supreme Being. I mean, we all do. At some point or another, we've created karma with ourselves from Supreme Being. And most of what I see in this space is lifetimes where you were angry at Supreme Being and got into a picture of distrust. And that's what I'm working on clearing. Oh, that's nice. That's coming out. It's coming out as a flat, rusty orange energy, but it's coming out. Okay. Just going to clear a little bit more energy in the receiving quadrant of the mock-up space. This is an element of disbelief that you can actually get your mock-up in the door. And I don't actually see that as like your natural spiritual state. I see that as a foreign energy, and it's almost black, so I want to take that out. That looks really wonderful. It's kind of a peachy gold with a little bit of pink in it, the mock-up space. So I'm going to fill it in with a gold sun. And thank you very much for that request and question. That was great. Now I'm going to get to another, let's see. Oh yeah. We're going to look at how to find the center of the planet. That was a really good request. And I have a quick story to tell about finding the center of the planet. I've had two major experiences with the center of the planet, both with earthquakes. Now, one time I was not grounded into the center of the planet, and for about a day or two, I was walking around like I was drunk. I could not balance. I was losing my footing. I could not figure out what was going on. And then boom, an earthquake hit. And what I realized was that I was not grounded to the center of the planet. So I was feeling the energy of the earthquake building. And then when the earthquake hit, I really felt that. So my other story about grounding is grounding to the center of the planet. During the Loma Prieta earthquake, I used to be up in Northern California. In fact, I know one of the members on the call tonight, she and I used to work together up there, and I was at Mervyn's during the Loma Prieta earthquake. And I remember the ceiling starting to come down in the building that we were in, like the pieces of it. And I was standing with my boss, and we were holding hands in a doorway, watching everything just go to hell as the earthquake hit this great big huge warehouse that we were in. And it was a very surreal experience driving home, because certain fires had broken out, the freeway had collapsed, and there were all kinds of horrid things going on. And I went home, and I had grounded my house as I do every day. And when I walked in, and I lived on the fault line, actually. And when I walked in my house, nothing was disturbed except for one thing, and it was a photo on top of the TV, and it was just face down. So that was the only thing that was disturbed, and from grounding. So now we're going to talk about how to find the middle of the planet. And I'm going to watch you all as you use your grounding cords and look for the center of the planet. I always say you want to go, let's see, from where we are, you want to go halfway to China. So you want to go way deep, deep down. And you might have energy blocking you at the bottom of where you're trying to ground. I'm going to do a healing on that, because that's what I'm starting to see, is there's a little bit of energy and even a being, especially in the person who asked this question. So I'm going to clear that and look at everybody else's grounding cord as well. Yeah, the person who asked this question has a baby being that is very stubborn and not wanting to leave. I would recommend a conversation with the baby being. This may be a soul that you still might want to provide a body for. It doesn't have to be this lifetime. Doesn't have to be. And but a conversation needs to happen between you and this being, because it's not budging. I see it as a little white being, and it might not be of the I was going to say of the caliber that you're looking for in a baby being. I don't think it's quite as intelligent of a being as what you might be looking for. So I would have a conversation with that being, and if you and bring your agreements with it into present time. if you're not going to use that being, then go ahead and let it go and give it its next step. And I'll go ahead and go back and give everyone's grounding cord a healing. You guys are doing a great job grounding. Everybody's in the center of the planet right now. So you want to just kind of sit on that grounding cord and feel how it feels. Maybe take a look on your screen. You know, to me, that's the easiest way to know that you're grounding to the center of the planet is you look out on your screen and you put an actual picture of the planet on your screen and draw your grounding cord to the very center of it and then figure out how to anchor it in there. But that looks good. All of you are grounded to the center of the planet now. That was a great question. Thank you. Let's see. I'm not quite clear of this question. How can we better retain or find the knowledge that we have as spirits while in a human body? How can we better retain or find the knowledge that we have? I'm not quite clear on that question. I'm so sorry. Do you mean how to gain more awareness? Can you rewrite that question, please? I'm so sorry to ask that, but I'm not quite clear. And so while I'm waiting on that, I will look into clearing sciatica pain. Okay, that's a good one. Everybody's probably got a little sciatica pain. And remember, how do we ground our sciatica pain? We ground it with the female grounding. So I'm going to give everybody a female grounding right now. We ground the sciatic nerves into the uterine grounding cord, and then those ovaries get grounded into the uterine grounding cord. The person who asked this question has a lot of energy in the sciatic nerves. And one of the things you can do on your own, I'm doing a healing now, but you can take a gold rose and move it through the nerve, like a yellow gold sticky rose, and just move it straight through the nerve all the way out down to the bottom, pull it out and blow it up, and then do that again. You can also use a gold sticky rose like to clean out your intestines and things like that too. Okay, I hope that helps. I'm going to fill you in with gold. And very good. Good question. Okay, so the question was rewritten. How can we bring the information that we receive from past lives and the astral into our awareness more effectively? Like now I kind of see your picture, like how to make it practical information. Let me think about this. I think what is important is bringing it into present time so that it's relevant information. And I can show you a technique to bring that information in. You would use a timeline, like a straight line across your screen, of course, marking the center of the timeline with a rose representing you. And I'm going to reverse this since you guys are watching me. So let's see. This would be past time. This would be future time. So let's say you're trying to pull in some past life information. You can pull it in on the timeline. So let's say you have some Egyptian information that you want to bring in, and you can go back on the timeline to time period during Egypt. When you had that lifetime, you can find it on your timeline by sending a rose out on the timeline, and tell the rose to stop at that past life. So then you'll have two roses, one marking present time and one marking the past life. And then what you do is you ground this rose and you bring it slowly toward present time, so that as you're grounding it, you're grounding all of the charge and the foreign energy off of it, but you're bringing all the information from this past life into present time, and you just bring it right into the present time rose. So that's one method. Let me think if there's anything else. I have to think on that some more of other methods, but that's a really good question. So let me chew on that. Okay. I hope that helped. At least that's one way that you can do it. And then I've got another request for a headache from second vaccine. Boy, I got to tell you, I was doing readings all day today, and every person I read was having trouble with their vaccine. Now, I'm not putting a bad picture out there. I'm just saying those vaccines are pretty heavy duty. We all know that we want to get them, but they require a little bit of grounding. And so I'm going to do a little work on the vaccine energy in everybody right now. What I'm doing is reminding you all as spirits, kind of reminding you of what your agreement is when you take that vaccine, that it's really an agreement with you, your body, and you as a spirit, and kind of take it out of that physical pain realm so that you can find your, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, find your reasons again, your understanding for the vaccine. Remember, the body's having to learn how to fight something brand new. Like, it is a rude shock to the body to have to fight that little booger off. So your body goes into a little bit of surprise and shock. So I'm also working on that. I think the secret is bringing the energy of the vaccine up to closer to the energy of you as a spirit. That vaccine's pretty heavy duty. So let's say this is you as a spirit in your natural spiritual state. The vaccine vibrates down here, but you can change the energy of the vaccine. That's why I'm saying you can ground it. I would ground if you have to go in for a second dose, or if you haven't gone in for your first dose yet, I would go ahead and ground that event, like ground the day, ground the event, and start to bring the energy of the vaccine up a little so it's closer to you as a spirit. I hope that helps. I'm going to fill you all in with gold right now. Okay. All right. Good job, everyone. I think I got to at least one question by everybody. Oh, let me check my phone real quick in case somebody. Okay, I'm good to go. Let me tell you what's coming up. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry about this. It's just going so slow, and I didn't have my calendar pulled up. Sorry about that. Okay. Next Thursday is Women's Intuition Protection. I'm really excited about that. We're going to go over grounding cord, electric blue, body of glass, protection rose. So we're going to touch a little bit on each of those so that you get a nice sampling of all the different tools you can use to protect yourself. So that's coming up next Thursday night. And then the following Wednesday night in the sanctuary, we have a chakra healing. So I'm looking forward to that too. And I will be sending out my May announcements pretty early. I'm on the ball this month. So I've got my classes scheduled for May, and I'll be letting you know about those before the end of the month. So thank you for joining me tonight. And don't forget, if you have any suggestions for a class or a healing that you'd like in the sanctuary, I'm always open to it. Okay, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm glad we got this time together. All right, have a great evening, everyone.